O'clock news on SBYnews.com. This is our special edition candidate interviews. With me tonight is Mr. Michael James, running for state senate.
Good to be here.
Welcome, Michael. We go back a lot of years.
Yeah.
We do, and you're from Worcester County. But we're going to dive right into these questions.
Came to Maryland originally to Salisbury 30 years ago.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Graduated from SU.
Couldn't resist the Ocean City area, huh?
Yeah, well, for a single guy at that time, it was a good place to be.
I'm with you. I was
Okay.
there. Same thing happened to me. That's exactly what I did. Okay. Let's start with the first question, which is, why are you running for state senate?
Well, these are important times for Maryland and for our district. I really believe we need really strong representation, and with Senator Stolfus retiring, I felt this was an opportunity for me to get in and serve the community, and not only serve the community, but serve the state. The next 4 years, we'll be talking about taxes, we'll be talking about health care, we'll be talking about agriculture, small business operators, and Maryland is too often being dominated by suburban Maryland, the Washington, D.C. suburbs and Baltimore. I have young children and a lovely wife, and I want to serve our community. I have a tall son, yes, my son. But I want to serve Maryland, I want to serve the Eastern Shore, and again, with Senator Stolfus deciding to retire, and the close election that I ran 4 years ago for House of Delegates, I felt this was an opportunity, and I feel I have the experience, number one, I have the passion to serve the district, and I think being effective, not a career politician, but being an effective business person who's made tough decisions, and who has been out there, who's laid in bed at night, worried about business and creating jobs. That's the kind of experience we need in this election. That's what I'm offering, and that's why I'm running.
Good deal. Well, let's see here. Why should the voters support you versus your opponents?
Well, again, it goes back to experience. Again, you can be a proactive business person versus somebody who served their community through the political end all the time. And I think the problems facing the state, and particularly the district right now, we've seen overregulation on our farmers. That hurts. We've seen overtaxation with the largest tax increase in the state's history in 2007. We've seen small business. We've seen small business operators almost taxed or regulated out of business. I participated in a roundtable where business people talked about actually licensing their business or their employees in Virginia or Delaware just because it's become cost prohibitive in Maryland. Maryland needs good paying jobs. The Shore needs good paying jobs. I've got the experience in doing that, and I've got the passion to do that. And so yeah, I guess the question was why me versus my opponent? Because of the experience I'm offering. Okay. I serve on our board of directors for a local hospital. I'm former chairman of the board for the Maryland Tourism Development Board under Bob Ehrlich. I've been in business and created jobs.
Okay. Under the current administration, Maryland taxpayers received the largest tax increase in history. How do you believe that the governor and the legislature should attack Maryland's current fiscal situation?
Well, number one, if we're talking specifically about taxes on this question, first of all, there should not be an increase. There has been an increase in sales tax. That should be knocked back down to 5%.
You support that?
Absolutely, I'll fight for that. That will be a priority. In Comico County, our retailers have to compete directly with Delaware. Same thing when you go to Worcester County.
That's right.
We were already at a disadvantage. A 20% increase in the sales tax, that was ridiculous. At a minimum, we should have been exempted, but I believe it hurts the whole state. I don't think it's creating revenue. I think it's costing us revenue.
Okay.
And as far as the millionaires tax, the people who are millionaires, they have the ability to change their residency or have second homes. Every study, in Wall Street Journal did an interesting article on this, that's cost Maryland a lot of tax revenue.
Yeah.
Probably over $200 million.
Yeah. And in fact, that flows into the next question is, if elected, will you support the repeal of both sales taxes? Okay, that was the question, I'm sorry. And no, it wasn't.
I will not only support it, I'll fight for it.
Okay.
Okay, and that's again the difference between a career politician,
right,
somebody making calculated political decisions, or political votes, or getting a pass after the majority party has enough. They say, okay, you can vote your conscience. I'll be vocal about these issues, and I will fight for them.
Well, how would you pay for it? Because both these answers that you just gave me flowed into the next question, but it tails off with, if so, how would you pay for it?
Number one,
millionaires tax and...
Well, first of all, I don't operate under the assumption that the sales tax increase or the millionaires tax. In fact, I argue just the opposite. They produce less tax revenue.
Right.
We've lost retail sales, we've lost jobs, and unfortunately, we didn't lose. The millionaires haven't necessarily left the state. They've changed their residency in some cases and still have a home in Maryland. But we have a budget problem in Maryland, probably a $2 billion deficit. We need economic development, and we need to cut wasteful spending. On the economic development front, we need to do things to attract jobs to Maryland and create good paying jobs. And we need to attract jobs to the shore. And by overtaxing, overregulating our farmers, our small business operators, that's pushing jobs out of Maryland. So number one, wasteful spending. You know, there's room for consolidation in the state government. We've seen the local counties and cities have to do it. They've made very, very efficient cuts in the last couple of years. Now we need to see the state government make those cuts and stop spending money they don't have.
Gotcha.
Sorry about that long answer.
No, that's excellent. No, you're right on target.
Okay.
It's very educational, by the way, because I'm learning so much by each candidate, and I appreciate that. Under the current administration, we've seen a great effort by the state to force Wacomico County to strip farmers of their property rights by taking away many of their development rights. Do you support this? If not, will you commit, if elected, to support legislation to get the state government out of local planning decisions and, if need be, eliminate the Maryland Department of Planning?
Okay. Number one, I would certainly support legislation to get the state out of local issues. There's obviously some issues with state property or involve state highways or whatever that the state may have to have some say. But in terms of this issue, I don't think the state needs to be involved. So I would help legislation or fight for legislation to strengthen the county's ability to operate independent of the state.
Interesting.
And I would not, and I don't think you should do anything to devalue someone's property without compensation back to those individuals, and that's what some of this legislation would have done.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay. In your opinion, what are the greatest challenges facing the lower shore, and how do you believe that you can help to solve those problems if you're elected?
In my opinion, the biggest issues facing the state and the shore right now is a high unemployment rate, which is again causing further deficit. We need true economic development, and to do that, we need less government interference on our employers, and we need to do things to attract industry and jobs into the state. People forget, farmers, watermen, they're business people. These are business people. The tourism industry, we need to do things to promote tourism on the entire eastern shore, not just Worcester County, but throughout the whole shore. I think that the state currently is probably at a $1.5 billion deficit. That will continue to grow unless we make the right decisions and elect the right people. We saw what Governor O'Malley did when elected. He increased the taxes. He increased the sales tax, the income tax, the corporate tax, the millionaire's tax. That's not the answer. We need to cut wasteful spending and do true long-term sustainable economic development with job creation.
Good point. That is my questions for the day, and I greatly appreciate you coming in here.
I really appreciate you asking me, and I want to thank my supporters. I appreciate what everyone's doing right now. Thank you so much. We're out working hard throughout the entire district. We're going to be, and we'll continue to work hard. We'll continue to go through the entire district. We've had some great times in Somerset County recently, and been all over Wacomico, of course, and in Worcester County, the south and the north end. And we're having a great time. I enjoy being a candidate, but I look forward to winning this election. Once we're in, we're going to work hard for the voters.
Michael, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. Folks, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate your support as always, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you.